that pretty much was start because we over the past 18 months we started the channel to celebrate our famous artists, especially during the lockdown, and we've been growing considerably over the past 18 months, and we've had numerous artists who've come in, and our audience have just been falling in love again with our favorite artists, just to hear how they got into the music industry, how they overcame difficulties and are still shining today. So we do have an international audience, people from Japan all the way to Brazil, Nigeria that tune in. So I always like to ask the guests, where were you born and raised, just in case most people don't realize?
I was born in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania.
Okay.
And at the age of 8, my mom and my mom sings. I come from a musical family. My aunt sings, my dad is a guitarist, so my mom and my aunt got on the Greyhound bus, which is, do you guys have Greyhound buses there?
Yeah, and I went to college in the US, but yeah, but we do have something called National Express in the UK, but yeah.
Bus from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania to,
Wow.
yeah, it took about 3 days to do it.
Yeah.
And because my mom and my aunt wanted to, pursue their singing careers.
Wow.
So we got to California. I grew up in California. Once we got here, I said, I want to sing too. At a young age, my mom found me a commercial agent, and I started booking commercials. I went on my first audition, booked it. I did a Kentucky Fried Chicken commercial with Ella Fitzgerald when I was 8 years old.
Ella Fitzgerald, wow.
Yeah, so it's like as soon as we got to California, things just started happening really quickly for me. And I signed my record deal when I was 11. And
Okay. No, but before we get there, I mean, I know you mentioned your mom and your aunt were singers, but when you were growing up, who were you listening to and getting your sort of singing inspiration?
Yeah, I was definitely influenced by my mom and my aunt, but outside of them, Michael Jackson. I was the biggest Michael Jackson fan. As a matter of fact, when I got off the bus, when I moved to California, you think of Hollywood, you think all the stars walking down the street. So I'm looking around to see if I can find Michael. I was like, so Michael Jackson, Shaka Khan. My first song that I sang, I was 7 months, and my mom has it on cassette.
7 months.
I was singing "Tell Me Something Good" by Shaka Khan when I was 7 months. And I couldn't talk, but I could sing the right melody. I had the melody. So Shaka inspired me. I love the Emotions, The Best of My Love.
Yeah.
As Wanda from the Emotions, she's the one that picked us up from the Greyhound station when we moved to. Yeah, my mom and Wanda, they've known each other since they were teenagers. Wow. So, she picked us up from the Greyhound station. And let me see, Wanda, the Clark sisters.
Wow, the famous Clark sisters.
Yeah. So I grew up listening to the Clark sisters, Whitney Houston.
Wow.
My favorites. Yeah, as well.
So at that young age, what was your mom? What was she singing? Was it pop, R&B, gospel, and your aunts?
They were singing. They sing art. They still sing. They sing R&B.
Okay.
So it's like the old school R&B, with the harmonies and the old school harmonies, and yeah.
Were they going to be a duo, with the two of them together singing when they were their whole dream of moving to LA? Was it for them to sing as a twosome, or what was the?
They still sing together, and then my stepdad, he sings with them, so it's the three of them together, and they still to this day do shows like, in different places and stuff. But since COVID, it kind of shut down for everybody.
Yeah. Last week I interviewed Lily from SWV.
I love her.
Yeah, and I said to Lily, so who inspired her when she grew up? And she said, Shanice Wilson. She says that when I saw Shanice on Star Search, that she didn't have a deal and she was singing, she says, wow, that if Shanice could do this, then I can do that. That Shanice and really inspired. And I'm just like, And I do remember, because I went to high school in Nigeria, but we got Star Search, and you know, seeing you at this young age, you know, fearless. I mean, now we see a lot of kids doing it, but back in those days, it was something unreal for us to see. How was it like for you? Your parents, mom, putting you up in front of, you know, these auditions and these shows?
Well, the good thing is that I was never forced to do it. Like, I loved it. I wanted to do it. I was so excited. When I was 8 years old, I literally used to sit in my closet with a cassette player, and I used to pretend like I was in a recording studio writing songs, and
Wow.
you know, had the opportunity to do it on a professional level. I was excited. My mom even told me, like, before I signed my first deal, I signed with A&M Records when I was 11. She said, "Are you sure what you want to do?" And I'm like, "Yes, this is really what I want to do."
Wow.
So I didn't have like a stage like that was like, you know, forcing me to do stuff I didn't want to do.
Yeah.
I loved singing. I just loved being on stage. At a young age, I knew at a young age I wanted to be a singer.
I mean, I told you about Lily. Did you know the impact you had on other young artists?
There's a show, I don't know if you guys have it there, but it's called Unsung. It's on TV1. And they covered SWV's story, and she mentioned it on the story. I literally like had tears. Like every time I hear that story, it really like it touches my heart, because I'm the biggest SWV fan. Like, I love all three of them. They're amazing.
Yeah.
I music too.
Yeah, but as I mentioned, you know, there are artists who, you know, are very big in America. But as I mentioned, now I'm born and raised in the UK, but I went to high school in Nigeria, and you know, we didn't have the internet, but back in the 80s, 90s. So if an artist can make it big in Nigeria, for me, that means that, you know, they've exceeded the US and they've gone international. And very few American artists. I mean, Chaka Khan, Whitney Houston, Michael Jackson stuff. But I remember you from high school, seeing you performing, and to us, you know, and you always sang like you were happy all the time, which this is always, you know, we always remember is that this is just this happy girl that's singing and bringing joy into the life and stuff. Did you notice that was part of your persona as a singer back then?
You know what? I didn't notice that. I mean, that I was just being myself, you know, and so I had no idea that I had that effect. Like, I was just happy, you know. I was just always happy to, like I said, like, I wanted to sing. I was excited. I get to like do what I love, and I came up with the title of "I Love Your Smile" when we were writing that song. And I wrote down, Narda Michael Walden said, "Give me a name title for a song." And I wrote, "I Love Your Smile."
Wow.
And I came up with the title because kids used to tease me at school all the time because they said, "You're always smiling. Why are you always happy?" So that's why I said, I need to write a song about a smile, because I'm always smiling.
Yeah.
So
Okay. I mean, we've spoken to a lot of people about the industry, and I wanted to know from your point of view, how important was it having your mum and your aunt there in the very beginning when you got signed at 11 to A&M Records? I mean, because, you know, we know the sad sides about the industry, but being that young, well, how important was it to have them there?
Well, I was a kid. I mean, I was a baby pretty much. I remember being up at the label with my cat, holding my Cabbage Patch doll in my hand. Like,
yeah, Cabbage Patch.
You know, so I'm glad. I'm so thankful that I had my family there to protect me, and to support me. Because like you said, like I've heard the horror stories too of kids starting at a young age and being around the wrong people and trying drugs and having nervous breakdowns and all craziness. And my family protected me from all of that. I never experienced that. I never been to any crazy parties, or, you know, I had my grandmother touring with me when I Love Your Smile during like touring. My grandmother was on the road with me. So I always have kept my family around me. and it just, they always protected me from any like negativity.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you showed us your grandma was in your video. I Love Your Smile. Was she?
Yeah, she was in the video.
Oh my
And she was
goodness.
the part where I went to, there's like a bunch of people and I went to snap a picture. My grandmother she's in that whole scene. She's like
Yeah.
right in.
Going back to when you were 11 and you signed with A&M. Now, Janet was on that label, wasn't she? Was she on the label? Did you
Yeah.
know that that was the Janet's label and everything when you got signed
Yeah,
there?
did, and I was excited. I mean, I'm a huge Janet fan too. So, and then I got to, because we were label mates, I got to know her as a person, and I used to stay at her house, and we used to stay in touch, and we're really good friends. So it was cool to be on the same label with Janet.
What was it like the first time you did meet her? Because at 11 years old, just big Michael Jackson fan, all of a sudden you're seeing his little sister. What was that?
I can't remember the first day I met Janet, but I just remember being very excited to meet Janet, and then I met Michael, and I've worked with
Wow.
Michael, so yeah, I was super excited. And then she ended up being a really cool person. Like I said, I got to know her as a person.
Yeah.
It was actually really cool. Yeah.
So then what happened with that your debut album on A&M that you had to move to Motown, that it didn't what was your thoughts reflecting back now?
Um, I honestly, like, my first album was like one of my favorite albums that I've recorded. So I'm kind of disappointed that they didn't release more singles, from the album, because I thought it was a really good album. And I wish they would have, just, pushed it a little harder and put out more singles. But John McClain discovered me. He signed me. So when he left A&M Records,
Oh.
I left A&M Records, and I ended up signing with Gerald Busby at Motown Records.
Oh, okay. So before we go to Motown, how John McClain, part of Michael's manager, is probably managing his estate right now, and discovered Janet.
Yeah.
But when he sort of left, was it that easy just to say, okay, well, I'm leaving as well, or because I thought you tied down?
Well, a guy named Bill Dern was co-managing me along with my mom and my aunt, and I knew that there was another opportunity for me in Motown, because Gerald Busby heard about me and he was interested in signing me. And my manager at the time thought it would be cool for me to be with Gerald, because he has children and he knew how to work with like young people, like young. So we just thought that would be a great place. But I love John McClain. Like, when it was I can't say anything bad about it, other than I wish more singles, they would have released more singles.
Yeah.
But A&M was great.
Yeah. I mean, for those people who might not know, but Gerald Busby was very big at MCA, discovered New Edition, Boys to Men. I mean, he was, he was Johnny. Yeah, he was our sort of a '90s version of Barry Gordy. I mean, he was he and LaSalle Jr. when they were yeah. So yeah, when we heard Gerald Busby, we know that wow, he was such a power broker.
Lil Silas and Joe Busby, they were together at MCA, but then Gerald ended up being the president of Motown. He left MCA and went to Motown, and then that's when I got to Motown. Is when Gerald.
So then, what was the difference when you got to Motown when it came to writing and producing your first album with them? What would you think was different? I mean, I know you're a little bit older, and you probably learned some lessons at A&M.
Yeah. It was fun because I got on that album, I got to do more songwriting. So Gerald Busby connected me to Nardo Michael Walden.
He did a lot of stuff with Whitney Houston.
Yes, Nardo Michael Walden worked with everybody from Mariah Carey to Whitney to Aretha Franklin.
Yeah, he was, yeah.
And so I was in the studio with Narda, and he was sitting at his piano, just, playing music. And I just started singing melodies off the top of my head. And then I gave him a bunch of song titles and stuff. And the songs just, he brought in his team of people to work with us. And it literally, like, we recorded that album so quickly. Like I love working with Nnamdi because he's a great vocal producer. How to produce vocals. And he took me out of my comfort zone, which I loved.
Wow.
Certain songs that we recorded in really high. And I said, Nnamdi, I'm not singing in that key. I said, that's too high. He said, you can do it. I know you can do it. So I love that about him because he would push me really hard vocally. It was really cool.
The thing you've touched on quite a bit was about the writing part. And, you know, and I don't know if this is stuff that your mom and aunt recognize about the importance of publishing and writing, but did you recognize how important it was to write, or what was it for you?
Well, my mom and aunt knew, you know, that how great publishing is and everything, but I had a love for songwriting. Remember when I was 8 years old and I used to sit in the closet and pretend like I was in the studio. So I've always been in love with songwriting, like before I even had my record deal. So.
And so you knew how important it was to actually write and sing your own songs, as opposed to singing other people's songs?
Yeah, I knew. Well, first of all, it was something that I enjoyed doing because I love. But I was also told that it's good to. I think it's good to write your own music because it's when you're singing it, if it's more believable when it's coming from you, you know, and then publishing, honestly. Songwriters make way more money than artists.
Well, of course, definitely. Yeah.
Way more money. Like, for instance, Chris Brown, he did a song called Undecided, and he used the melody to I Love Your Smile in the hook. Well, I got publishing on that because I wrote on the original one. So it's like once you start writing, it's like that publishing money, you'll have that forever. Yeah. And so I would say to all the artists out there that can write and that's interested in writing, that's the way to go. Yeah, that's the way to go.
Well, I mean, and I think we can hark back to the beginning that your mom and aunt knew about the industry and was protecting you, because unfortunately most of the artists that we've talked to subsequently didn't realize, well, they were writing, but somebody took their publishing when they signed their contract, and those were sort of the lots of sad stories that we've been listening to, is that we signed off, we didn't realize that we gave away everything because no one told us. They just said this is a standard contract.
Yep, that happens a lot. That's why you gotta, know what you're signing. You gotta have the right, people around you, because people will, it's a dark industry, and if you don't know what you're, and you can really it can really mess you up. Yeah. And you sign your whole life away if you don't know what you're.
No, as I said, it's not been, as much as I've probably spoken to 40 different artists from the night, it was fun at first, but when I kept hearing the stories, it's been heartbreaking to hear the same.
The labels, they don't like when the family members are working with the artist. Yeah. Because they can't take advantage of you. Yeah. So that was the downfall. The great thing is that I was protected. The only bad thing about it is that labels don't want you working with your family. So it was kind of an issue.
Yeah, I mean, we've heard subsequently that the more you know, the less they want to work with you, because it's as if, we can't take long-term advantage. But I think, that's definitely something that hopefully artists today can learn from.
I Love Your Smile, when he put that record out, I did not want I Love Your Smile to be the first single.
Wow.
No. I told you, Silent Prayer, it should be the first single, because we were in the middle of a war, the Persian Gulf War.
Yeah, there's a storm. Thanks for watching. Please remember to subscribe to the channel, but most importantly, to press the notification bell so that you can be notified when we do have a new interview. Loads to come, but thanks a lot for watching. You know.
I begin to